Rhubarb, ginger, and pineapple are flavors that taste great together, and this is how to make a rhubarb ginger buttermilk buckle in 125 milliliter mason jars, and how to make the pineapple ice cream that can go on top. The buckle is great on its own too. I think they taste best an hour or two after they come out of the oven. A buckle is an old-fashioned dessert that is built in several layers. The top crumb layer is nicely browned and crisp like a soft cookie. The middle layer is a fruit-filled batter that explodes with fruit juice, creating a soft crumb texture. The bottom layer is just straight butter that browns the bottom part of the batter, creating a bottom with a little crunch. This is how to make rhubarb ginger buttermilk buckle. Rhubarb is a great vegetable to use for baking, but it is more enjoyable to eat when it is cooked in sugar. I added 20 grams of demerara sugar to 100 grams of rhubarb. I found the rhubarb to be a bit fibrous, kind of like celery, so I diced it up finely to allow as much of the sugar to penetrate the vegetable as possible. I like to use brown sugar for the earthy caramel molasses flavor. To make the crumb topping, I scaled 20 grams of cold butter that was cut into small pieces, 25 grams stone ground all-purpose flour, 25 grams cinnamon sugar, and mixed them all together in a small mixing bowl. I rubbed the butter into the flour and sugar using my fingers until the mixture was uniformly crumbly. I spread 10 grams of room temperature butter evenly on the bottom of 3 125 milliliter mason jars. I placed the jars in a frying pan and set them aside while I assembled the batter. The batter is made by mixing the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, so I scaled them separately. For the wet ingredients, I scaled 25 grams of buttermilk, about 2 grams of freshly grated ginger, and an egg. I quickly whisked them together and then set the bowl aside. For the dry ingredients, I scaled 25 grams stone ground cake flour and 15 grams cane sugar and mixed them together. I added a pinch of Himalayan salt and mixed it in. I placed the eggs on a dry towel to help hold the bowl in place as I mixed in the flour. I mixed just until the batter was combined and no lumps, and divided the batter evenly between the 3 mason jars. I added 40 grams of rhubarb, including the syrup, to each jar, and made sure the rhubarb was completely covered in batter. I divided and spread the crumble topping evenly over the battered fruit and baked the buckles in a 350 Fahrenheit oven for 45 minutes. I let the buckle cool down before serving. It goes really good with pineapple ice cream. I prepared the fresh pineapple by cutting the top and bottom off so the pineapple rests flat on my cutting board. Then, following the contours of the pineapple, I cut away the peel a few inches at a time and cut away little bits of peel remaining. The core of the pineapple is easy to see, and I cut around it. I cut up the pineapple in small chunks and scaled 200 grams. I added 60 grams of dark brown sugar and mixed it into the pineapple. I left the fruit to macerate in the sugar for 2 hours. Pineapple has an enzyme in it that likes to break down protein, so I cooked the pineapple in the custard after macerating the fruit to deactivate the enzyme. I added the pineapple to a blender top and processed until smooth. I whisked the pureed pineapple into 4 egg yolks and added 200 grams of high-fat cream. I poured the custard into a freezer bag draped over a mason jar to make it easier to fill the bag, and added the custard to a water bath to cook sous vide style. An immersion circulator heats the water to a constant temperature and gently circulates the water in the water bath to ensure uniform heating for long periods of time. I set the immersion circulator temperature at 85 degrees Celsius, and I set a timer for 1 hour. I transferred the hot freezer bag to an ice bath to cool down before storing the custard in the refrigerator to mature and develop its flavors overnight. I strained the custard through a fine mesh sieve, and when the machine was all frosty-like, I turned on the paddles and added the custard. The ice cream is done when it is coming away from the sides of the mixing bowl, has formed into a rolling ball, and is sticking to the paddles. I packed the ice cream into 4 125 milliliter mason jars, tightened the lids, and placed them into the freezer to harden.